Have you ever returned to a book that felt like a manual for your 18-year-old self, only to find the logic gaps you were once too young to notice? I'm Guinevere Atlas, and this is Romantasy and Routine. This channel is meant to be a regulated sanctuary, a safe, neurodivergent-friendly corner for those of us who find comfort in the stacks. Think of this as our midnight meetup in a hidden NYC forest sanctuary. Settle in and let me know in the comments. Which book from your teens do you still hold on to, even if it's a bit messy? Tonight, we're looking at My Hero by Julie Capulet. It's a military romance following Colonel Caleb, a man grappling with severe PTSD, and Violet, a psychology major who has to decide how much of herself to give to his recovery. Evaluating a nostalgic favorite requires an adult lens. We have to see if the story still stands on its own merits, or if we're just remembering the version of ourselves that first read it.
At a teen, I snap up in the intensity.
Now I see the mechanics of the story more clearly, specifically where the heavy emotional reality of the characters clashes with a very fast plot. The central friction in My Hero is the contrast between its grounded psychological weight and an incredibly accelerated timeline. Violet and Caleb meet during her freshman year. Before the summer even ends, they've transitioned from strangers to a married couple. It's a pacing choice that demands a total suspension of disbelief. Capulet details Caleb's night terrors and hypervigilance with clinical precision, grounding the romance in the actual weight of the veteran experience. As the diagram shows, there is zero overlap between this gritty realism and the speed of the romance. To enjoy the book, you have to accept that trade-off. You are essentially paying for masterful psychological care with the currency of chronological realism. Let's break down the data points to see if that emotional payoff is actually worth the structural cost. We start with the PTSD representation. Caleb's internal struggles are written with psychological intention. The symptoms, the isolation, the flashbacks, mirror real-world clinical observations rather than romanticized tropes. The outcome is a raw, authentic depiction of how military trauma impacts a person's ability to accept affection. The trade-off here is your own emotional bandwidth. This is a story about real loss, and it doesn't function as a light dissociative escape. Now we look at the timeline speed. The narrative compresses years of relationship milestones into a single summer. This creates a highly kinetic, momentum-driven experience where the reader is never left waiting for the next major plot point. However, the cost is the loss of the slow burn. If you need to see a couple navigate the mundane steps of dating over a year to believe in them, this will feel jarring. You're making a hard choice here between experiencing emotional gravity and demanding a logical calendar. A romance fails if the heroine is only there to be a healer. So we have to look at Violet's role in this. Let's shift to character agency. Violet uses her psychology background to identify her own emotional limits, often choosing to stick to her rigorous study schedule even when Caleb is in the midst of a crisis. You're watching a woman maintain her own professional path while navigating a partner's trauma, which prevents her from becoming a simple plot device. Next, we move to the intimacy and spice. The book sits at a 3.5 out of 5 on the spice scale. The scenes are highly emotionally charged, focusing on the vulnerability and trust required for Caleb to be physically present. While romantic, this level of detail is likely too explicit for clean romance readers, but not mechanical enough for those seeking pure erotica. My Hero successfully balances those mature emotional stakes with intense payoffs, even if the foundation it's built on moves a bit too fast. Now we have to decide if this book belongs on your shelf or if it should stay in the past. It all comes down to this. Does emotional authenticity outweigh timeline logic for you? If seeing a couple go from meeting to marriage in 3 months breaks your immersion, the pacing will ruin the book for you. You should skip it. But if you prioritize deep, intentional trauma representation and emotional intelligence over a strict calendar, then this is for you. This is a golden hour military romance, specific, empathetic, and built for a reader who values the interior world more than the external timeline. Accepting the rushed summer is simply the price of admission for the psychological depth Capulet offers. Before I let you go, I want to move away from the analysis and focus on the heart of the story. The proposal scene involves Caleb, Violet, and a puppy named Roy. It isn't a grand public spectacle. It's a quiet moment of choice and shared responsibility. Seeing a hero offer a commitment based on shared daily life rather than a fleeting grand gesture gave me my first real look at what a healthy partnership could actually look like. Thank you for joining me in this sanctuary. If you enjoyed our time together, please subscribe and share this with your fellow book lovers. I'll leave you with Violet's final words, capturing the relief of coming home. Your only fault was leaving me, and I'm glad you're back.